I'm going to now lead us in an apology from white Americans to African Americans on behalf of our country, to you and to your ancestors and to all of your people. So to the African Americans in the room who would wish and be willing to participate in this, please stand up. And now I'd like to ask white Americans who are sitting near you to please stand up, and if the African American citizen would be willing to allow a white American who wishes to apologize to you and take part in this to hold your hands. And now, as I speak, I'm going to ask the white Americans in the room to please repeat after me. On behalf of myself and on behalf of my country, to you and all African Americans, from the beginning of our nation's history, in honor of your ancestors and on behalf of your children, please hear this from my heart. I apologize. Please forgive us. With this prayer, I acknowledge the depth of the evils that have been perpetrated against black people in America. From slavery to lynchings to white supremacist laws to the denial of voting rights to all the ways, both large and small, all of them evil, all of them wrong, for all the oppression and all of the injustices. I apologize. Please forgive us. For the denial of any civil rights, for inequalities in criminal justice, to any instances of police brutality, to the denial of opportunity, for economic injustice, for any ways that a racial element has played into the perpetration of injustice. I apologize. Please forgive us. With this prayer, I acknowledge the beauty and the genius of your culture, the power and the genius of those who came before you, the power and the genius of your children and your descendants. And with this prayer, we pray. May your children, may your men be blessed and protected. May your men be blessed and protected. May your men be blessed and protected. May all your men and all your women and all your children be surrounded by angels at this time. And dear God, may a great healing occur. We place in your hands the relationship between black and white Americans. May it be lifted high above and beyond the walls that would divide us. May our hearts be awakened to the truth of our oneness. And racism and prejudice be no more. Dear God, please come upon us and heal our wounded hearts. But to you, my African American fellow citizen, please accept my apology this night. It is for you and for your grandparents, and their grandparents before them, and their grandparents before them. May the screams that were not allowed be allowed now. May the cries that were never heard be heard now. May the tears that were never heard be heard now. And thus may the healing begin. The tears that we cry, may they be cried. And thus in the sacred container, may the healing begin. And so it is. Amen. I'd like everyone to please be seated and remain in quiet, that we might hold in silence this sacred moment. And allow whatever reaction anyone needs to have to be had. We do have cellular memory. We do. And we are screaming sometimes, the screams that our grandmothers and our grandfathers were not allowed to scream. And we are crying sometimes the tears that our grandmothers and grandfathers were not allowed to cry. And this is the place. You know, when President Clinton said we needed to have a national conversation about race, it didn't go anywhere because without a sacred container, without a prayerful context, no one gets to go deep. You know, people who have hundreds of years of anger in their self and rage and pain and need to apologize. This is all really good. And it's the only way. And everyone who is present with this, to whatever extent your own awareness, your own feelings are impacted by this, then you become in your own way, in your own life, an ambassador of the love and the feelings that you experience here. And that's the way it works. It's not a quick fix. It's a healing process. But it cannot not work. Does that make sense? I think
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning. I am the wife of Pastor Les Robinson. Quickly, we've seen America rally behind court cases through the years over intellectual property and real property, oftentimes resulting in millions of dollars in restitution. We rally behind it without the blink of an eye because it's something that has been stolen, and restitution should be made. We cannot forget or ignore the fact that we stole people from their native land. We stripped them from their families, from their culture, and from their birthright. Yet white America has turned a blind eye to this and say they should get over it, or it's been so long and it doesn't affect the African Americans today because it happened so long ago. On behalf of myself, my family, and my ancestors, I want to publicly apologize to the African American community for our ignorance, our arrogance, our insensitivity to your cause, and for any part we may have had in the atrocities done to your people. I stand here today humbly to show my love and support. Whether enslaved or freed, we know that many African Americans have had inventions they didn't get credit for and therefore earned no revenue. Land was stolen from many, as in my husband's case. My husband has the deeds to these properties that state this land belongs to my descendants forever and ever. There should be no question of what should be done. His land has been stolen, his generational wealth stolen, the schooling opportunities he should have had stolen, his opportunity to grow up in a safe environment where his family could afford housing stolen. He was forced into poverty, running to and from school, hoping to avoid getting into a fight or even getting shot and killed. This wasn't the legacy his grandfather left him. His rightful inheritance was stripped from him. Where is his restitution? There is no record of the properties ever being sold. If this were a claim about a white man's property being stolen, I'm sure the court case would have been resolved by now. He should have the right to reclaim financial compensation for what was left to him by his great-great-great-grandfather, Daniel Blue.
Thank you so much for
so that he may pass it down to his descendants.
When white people in the United States balk at the idea of paying reparations to black Americans who descended from slaves, they disagree with the Bible. Reparations are a form of compensation or restitution made to those who have suffered injustice, particularly those in cases of racial inequality, discrimination, and slavery. The idea of paying reparations to black Americans is not a new one. It has been a topic of discussion for decades, if not centuries. However, it has gained renewed attention and support in recent years, following the resurgence of the Black Lives Matter movement and the growing recognition of systemic racism in American society. As a Christian, I believe that reparations are not only a matter of justice and equity, but also a reflection of God's character and values. In the Bible, we see numerous examples of God's concern for the oppressed, the marginalized, and the downtrodden. From the Israelites' liberation from slavery in Egypt to the ministry of Jesus among the poor and the outcast, we see a consistent theme of God's love for those who are on the margins of society. One of the key biblical principles that underlie the idea of reparations is the concept of restitution. In the book of Leviticus, we see God commanding the Israelites to make restitution to those whom they have wronged. Leviticus 6:1-5 says, "If anyone sins and commits a breach of faith against the Lord by deceiving his neighbor in a matter of deposit or security or through robbery, or if he has oppressed his neighbor or has found something lost and lied about it, swearing falsely in any of all the things that people do and sin thereby, if he has sinned and has realized his guilt and will restore what he took by robbery when he got it by oppression or deposit that was committed to him, or the lost thing that he found, or anything about which he has sworn falsely, he shall restore in full and shall add a fifth to it, and give it to him to whom it belongs on the day that he realizes his guilt." This passage emphasizes the importance of making restitution to those who have been wronged, and not just restoring what was taken, but adding to it as a form of compensation. This principle of restitution can be applied to the issue of reparations to black Americans who have suffered centuries of enslavement, discrimination, and systemic oppression. Another biblical principle that supports the idea of reparations is the concept of Jubilee. In Leviticus 25, God commands the Israelites to observe a Jubilee every 50th year, during which all debts are forgiven, all slaves to be set free, and all property to be returned to its original owners. This was a radical idea of economic justice designed to prevent the accumulation of wealth and power in the hands of a few and to ensure that all members of society had equal access to resources and opportunities. The idea of Jubilee can be seen as a model for reparations in that it seeks to address the root causes of inequality and oppression rather than just treating the symptoms. By forgiving debts, freeing slaves, and returning property, Jubilee seeks to create a more just and equitable society, one in which everyone has the opportunity to flourish. As a Christian, I believe paying reparations to Black Americans is only a matter of justice and equity, but also it is a reflection of God's values and character. Through the biblical principles of restitution and jubilee, we see a model for how we can address the historical and systemic injustices that have plagued our society for far too long. While the issue of reparations is complex and contentious, I believe that as Christians, we have a responsibility to seek justice.
It starts by Wild Genius putting a post up saying, "White women, apologize below to Black women without centering yourself." I want to see what y'all come up with. Okay. And just so you know, I'm reading this from my phone just because it's one of those. Okay. The first response is from Heather and Two Girls. It says, "I'm sorry for perceiving loudness as anger." The next is from Alexis Drott. "I'm sorry to the Black women that we have undermined your consistent work to build community." The next one from Gina Catherine _ says, "Dear Black women, I'm deeply sorry that the healthcare system, the education system, the workplace diminish and devalue your presence. I'm sorry that the rules for anger and grief are different or not acceptable for you than white women. I'm sorry that more threatening than a bear or a man is a white woman. I'm shamefully sorry how long I was blind to these truths and more." The next one comes from Erica Rose 11111. "I'm sorry I ever believed in the quote, I don't see color, unquote, crap I was taught growing up in the 80s. The next one's from MN Matriarch, says, "From the depths of my soul, I am sorry for the pain we have caused and continue to cause Black women. Time and again, you give grace where none is deserved." Saleha _27, "Dear Black women, from a Native woman, I'm sorry that you had to also be freed from my ancestors as well. I'm sorry some of you weren't recognized for your contributions to our tribes until generations too late. And I'm sorry that today we are somehow taken better care of than y'all are. You deserve reparations. I can never redeem what you deserved from the beginning. All I can do is say, I see you and I stand with you now." Metro P. Retro.P. "I'm so sorry that motherhood has been stolen from you in ways that we cannot fathom. Whether that was nursing white babies while yours were taken away from you, lack of care, negligent health care, and mortality rates of pregnant Black women, violent testing and experimentation in the name of lies / the guise of medical advancement / discovery, all the way to the anxiety you must feel as your children navigate a world built on your backs but not built for them. I'm sorry your peace was decimated. And yet you have persevered, thrived, and created families, chosen or otherwise, that are enviable from all other cultures, home, safety, love, and lessons." It's from Caffeinated _ Book Babe. "Dear Black women, let's get your thoughts here."
Thank you for always staying tuned, and thank you for always being here to support these channels. We really appreciate every one of you who have contributed to the growth of this channel ever since we started. Thank you. We really appreciate. And today, there's something that's actually going on internet, and it's gaining a lot of momentum across all social media platforms. White American apologizing to Black America for years of maltreatment. A powerful conversation is unfolding, and some white Americans are publicly acknowledging the painful history of racism and apologizing to Black Americans for the mistreatment that generations have experienced. For many, this is not about taking personal responsibility for something they didn't do. It's about recognizing what happened, listening to the people who lived through its consequences, and refusing to repeat those patterns. Slavery, segregation, discrimination, and racial violence left deep scars on American society. Even though history cannot be changed, acknowledging it honestly can create an opportunity for healing and understanding. Some Black Americans say an apology alone is not enough. They want meaningful changes, fairness, opportunity, equal treatment, and a society where people race does not determine how they are treated. Others believe genuine apologies can still matter when they are followed by action. The important point is that reconciliation does not require pretending the past never happened. It is require having the courage to confront it. Because sometimes saying we were wrong is not a sign of weakness. It's the beginning of taking responsibility and building something better. If you enjoy this commentary, like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more powerful discussion about history, race, events, and society, Africa in America, and Africa in diaspora. Tell us in this comment, do you believe sincere apologies can help community heal from the wound of the past? Thank you. See you in the next one.